Hi, in the running world there was a lot of talk recently about the shoes because in the past few years Nike revolutionized road running with their carbon plated shoes, and for a while if you looked at the start line of any major race, the only difference between the shoes in the elite field was that some had green Nikes, the other one had pink Nikes. But now the other manufacturers are stepping in, and almost all of them are making similar shoes at the moment. And at first I was critical of it, because if you run a personal best in a shoe like that, you are not sure if it's because of all the training you've been doing or it's just because of the shoe. On the other hand, you have cycling, for example, which was always more technical sport, so technology mattered as much as training, so technological improvements happen almost yearly. But I'm less critical of them since I got the pair of Saucony Endorphin Pro. That's also a carbon plated shoe, and first impression was that it felt a little bit strange, so you cannot bend the sole. It's very stiff. In comparison with Kinvaras, for example, who you can bend in each direction without problem. And when I first put them on, the walking felt strange because they kind of push you forwards. So I was afraid of falling down when I start running. But actually, during the run, they felt normal. And in the first few easy kilometers, I didn't feel any difference. The difference was felt when I started running faster. So for the first run, I didn't want to do too hard of a session. So I planned to do 15 minutes, then 10 minutes, then 5 minutes at moderate pace with 5 minutes of easy running in between. I went to the track and did first 15 minutes in what felt like around 3:40 pace, and the actual pace was actually 3:31. So that was substantial difference, I would say. But it's also partially in your head, because when you start using something that makes you faster, then you subconsciously push a little bit more. So, but still, I think that these were worth at least 5 seconds per kilometer. The second interval, 10 minutes, I went a little bit faster, so it was moderate towards hard, but not very hard. Well, the actual average heart rate was maybe 165 or something like that, and the pace was 3:19. Although sometimes when you run in circles, your watch tends to, sometimes it overestimates the distance, and it overestimated the distance on this second rep, but it was busy day on the track, so I had to I think at each loop, I had to overtake people, and sometimes I had to move into the third lane, so I definitely ran more than 400 meters per loop, but I'm not sure how much more, but still, 3:19 pace, that's very fast for me. And the last 5-minute interval was at 3:15, and it didn't really feel like close to all out, so I could have easily gone faster. So if I was doing a road race, a fast race, or even a marathon, I would have no doubt I would go with this shoe without question. But the thing is, Ironman is a much longer race. You run much slower, your legs are much more tired, so the technique is probably a little bit different. So that's why I'm going to do 2 more test runs in them. One will be today. I will do a brick at slightly above race pace, and then I plan to do 1 more longer run in them, and if everything goes right, I will use them in the race. There is one more thing that's slightly concerning, and that's the injuries. I heard there was not much research on it yet, but some people claim that these carbon-plated shoes might cause injuries, and there was some anecdotal evidence of it, but some people have no problems. And also I was speaking with Brett Sutton the other day. He also thinks that this might be the big cause of injuries going forward. So anyway, I will, if everything goes well, I will do another 2 runs in them and then put them in the box, save them on race day. I don't think this is the shoe for training. You should save them for the special days. And I also saw a research that showed that not everybody benefits from this carbon shoe. Some claim that the heel strikers actually benefit more. But it's new technology, so there is not much research still on the subject. Let's make the legs tired, and then we'll do a second test run in these.
I went out for a nice 5-hour ride over smooth Swiss roads, price for which you pay by having to stop every 10 kilometers. I find the riding here quite enjoyable. Besides the perfect pavement, the scenery is very nice and half of every ride is downhill. Despite that, my legs felt quite heavy when I came back to St. Moritz. It was time to put the super shoes on and go out for a run. As usual, I was very eager to go out and do the brick run. Okay, maybe not so much. I ran 2 loops around the lake. The surface was a mixture of asphalt and trail, which made it ideal for the test of the shoes. Despite having to zigzag between all the people who went out early from work to prepare for Swiss National Day and enjoy a bit of sun, I managed to hold steady 350 pace without too much effort.
So to conclude, this is the fastest shoe I ever used. Well, everything went very well. Once again, the pace was faster than what the effort was suggesting. The heart rate was getting a little bit high towards the end, but it was caused by 3 things. I think first one is obvious, it's the altitude. I have 20% less oxygen here than at the sea level, and I'm not yet 100% adapted to it. Second one was the ride. I did before that because the ride was not so easy. And the third thing is that it was rather hot, especially on the ride, so I was dehydrated. And I don't think I spent past 5 years. This is actually 6th year that I'm spending at least part of the summer in the mountains, and I never felt so hot in the mountains as I felt today. So all in all, well, there was one possible problem that I had with the shoe. So once I stepped on the edge of the asphalt, so there was like 2 levels of asphalt, and I stepped on the edge. And normal shoe would probably absorb it a little bit better. With this shoe, it just, since the sole is so stiff, it went like this. So if my ankle was a little bit weaker, then I might have had problems. So that's something I need to pay attention to. And well, one more test run, and I'm 99% sure that I will use this shoe in races, whichever race happens first. So that's it for today, and see you again soon.